showing an excellent connection with Hope. Well, chaps, just a surprise live stream. I do like to do these from time to time, and I like to practice. Oh dear, the weather's changed. Live weather in the Cessna 182 RG by Coronado. Lovely aircraft. I've not done enough flight time in this aircraft. Let me just press my B key. In this video, or in this live stream, let's get to little nav map. We're in Dice Airport in Scotland there. We're going to be using VORs. We're going to first tune to St. Abbs VOR, SAB, it's called here. So we're going to be flying VORs all the way down. We're probably going to do a touch and go at Newcastle Airport here. So we'll be flying along the Scottish coast. I may have a surprise or two on the way to Newcastle, then from Newcastle over to Leeds. Probably use our nav and actually go direct to Leeds from Newcastle. I'll be showing you that in this video. Or in this live stream. It's not a video, it is a live stream. Okay. Now, why Sound Labs coming up? I don't know. Hopefully I am connected to YouTube rather than Twitch. Seems to be on YouTube. It's showing excellent connection, which is a change from last week. Okay, so what we'll do, actually, let me just switch on my Tolby. That's better, because I can just bring my head forward to zoom into this map. Switch this to VLOC. It's basically putting it on to the VORs so we could tune in our VORs. And let's hope this works, because I was having a few difficulties with VORs recently in the Cessna 182. So where do we want to go to? VOR SAB, it's 112.50. 112, I'm going to use my nav radios for this. 112.50. And you can see the frequencies here. You can do this via the knobs down here as well, but I've got my Logitech multi-panel attached. Why not use that? And again, now let me try and figure this out. This happened previously. This locks up and doesn't work for some reason. 112.50. Let me just turn off Tolby while I just double check that. 112.50. This locks up. Now, if I can find a solution for this live, that would be great. Do not know what goes on. So I'm switching between them. Let me just set my... This worked fine before, now it's suddenly stopped working on me again. Or we can fly along the Scottish coast using our VFR map, that's no problem. And try and figure this out on the way, I reckon. This locks up, you get a little lock icon here, which means it's not working, it's not picking up on the VOR frequency. And I'm not quite sure why that's happening. Why that's doing it to me. So, might be a VFR map option for now, until I can figure that out and get it working, hopefully en route. So let's throttle up our aircraft. And we can take off. There's not been an update to the RG recently, has there? Have I missed something? Do let me know, chat. As far as I know, I've not missed an update for the RG. I've not seen one. Okay, well, we'll just throttle up here. Get up to speed. And take off. Nice and gentle. And remember, we're in the Cessna 182 here, so it does have a gear. Our flaps are up. Well, it may not tune into the VORs, but it should still tune into the nav frequencies. It's just a shame that the VORs suddenly... I did a quick test flight before. Never mind, we'll work it out on the way. Sure, our friendly chat will help with this. So, go to 1,500 feet. Might as well put it... Let me just sync up using my flow here. My heading bug. We don't want sim rate. We want bug up. Sync our heading bug. There we go. Go into autopilot. And in fact, do I want to put it into autopilot? Yeah, I want to manually fly it for a little bit. There we go. Manually fly the aircraft, because it's good to get back used to aircraft when you're not flying them for a while. Manually fly it around. We'll just follow the coast. The east coast of Scotland down to Newcastle. Or down towards Newcastle. I'll just trim down a little bit here. Very easy aircraft to fly, the Cessna 182 I found. The RG, and it's lovely to fly as well. So how are you all doing, chaps? This is a treat for you, YouTube. I normally fly in group flights and goodness knows what. I just thought I would come and chat to my YouTube chat. Come and do a quick fly. I've gone over the altitude that I want to be at. I mean, 1,500 to 2,000 feet is enough for this, so I'll just trim down a little bit. It's no problem. Looks like we're flying over Edinburgh there, doesn't it? Bring that altitude down. Ah, now the VORs. Well, that's why. Hodison, you idiot. I wasn't in the air, didn't have range to that VOR. Thought it was working before. Okay, so VOR is working. Ignore me. So we can line ourselves up for this VOR. We are going towards it. Let me just turn Toby off for a second. The up arrow here shows that we're going towards it. This is a course deviation line, as always, that we want to bring or coax back into the centre, which means we'll be flying some way towards that VOR. I'm just gonna mess around here for a while. Maybe those are the wrong choice of words to use. I'm just gonna fly around for a while, bank to the right, because I want to be flying over land mainly. Or do I? No, I had something else installed, so let's go with the original route. Let's put it into autopilot mode. I'm going to put it into heading mode, move my heading bug to the left there, and the autopilot will follow. And actually, let me just turn my Toby back on. It's easy to lean in to see how far we got. We've got a distance of over 70 nautical miles towards that VOR, so plenty of time. I am going to change things up en route to that. There you go, 69 nautical miles. We'll soon get there in the Cessna 182. And I just flights. I've not tried it. I was tempted by it. I just had to stop myself from spending on another aircraft for the moment. I believe it's very good. Although it's not something I've personally tried. Hello, my dear YouTuber friend. How are you doing? I am keeping very well, thank you. So there we go. We'll just come back towards, coaxing the course deviation line here, back towards the centre, which means we'll be perfectly lined up for that VOR. And on the way, well, you can see an aircraft. Oh, let's just turn that Toby off. It's a bit distracting for you. You can see an aircraft here. There is an airport here, which, let me remind myself, is Dundee Airport. We will be taking a detour into Dundee Airport. Once this course deviation line comes in, we can actually put it... Are we in VLOC mode? We are. So just click your CDI button to put it into VLOC. It'll follow your VORs and ILSs and goodness knows what. If it's in GPS, it will follow your nav, your route, if you have one set up. We don't. Once the course deviation line starts to move in, I'm going to press the nav button. Even though we're not in GPS mode, it will follow your VOR as long as you're somewhat near that course deviation line. Indicator line. You'll see what I mean when it starts to come in a moment. I did tell Discord that I was doing this flight and even put the details in Discord, but never mind. It's a good chance for me to catch up with you lot. Yeah, it came alive. Yeah, Carl. Yeah, it was my mistake. There is an oddity with this. Keep watching. If any of you are more used to the... I've not flown the RG enough. But as you'll see, I'll leave the points I was about to make till later. But it does behave a little bit oddly, the VOR. Or the sort of... basically it's the HSI, isn't it? This does behave a little bit oddly later, as you'll see. But for now, we're doing okay. We're just under heading mode at the moment. I'm going to move my heading a little bit more to the right. Just coaxing that line in, the course deviation line in. And this works on airliners as well, so it's a good skill to learn. There you go, it's coming in. So we're near enough to it. Let it come in a little bit further that we can press nav and it will follow our VOR, even though we're not in GPS. Are you coming in, dear line? Come and join us. Still over 61 nautical miles away from that VOR, so plenty of time. Alright, it will come in. It will line up and come in. No worries. Comanche 250, I've not taken a look at that. Yeah, I am very tempted actually, Oggy, by the Piper. I've just got to be careful, like I said, how much I am spending on stuff at the moment. Let me just make sure that I do have the right nav frequency tuned in. I do indeed. And we are going towards it. We are indeed. All's good. Okay, yeah, it's a little bit more plush, shall we say. I mean, it's difficult to beat the Cessna 172 if you like the G1000s in the Cessna 172. As you can see, the detailing on this is just that step above the default aircraft. The behaviour of it, generally, I found very good as well. It does feel like a very plush, comfortable ride. Luxurious ride, rather. And once you've learnt, it's a little bit quicker than the Cessna 172 as well. It's probably on par with the Grand Caravan, near enough. Not quite as quick as the Grand Caravan, in fact, but yeah, it's just a bit of a zippier Cessna 172. In fact, let me just try and increase my speed a little bit more. We can close the engine cowl flaps. There we go. Okay, now what's happening with this? Let me just concentrate on this VOR. Going towards it, if that arrow's pointing upwards, like this, it means you're going towards it. If it's pointing the other way, you're going away from it, so everything's fine. I do have the correct frequency dialed in there. Just to be double sure, 112.50, absolutely fine. It's taking its sweet time to come in. Actually, what am I doing? Probably a few of you were yelling at me then. There we go, so we can line this up. It's the trouble with flying different aircraft, you sometimes forget. Even though I was just flying this, what, an hour ago, just to practice. There we go. So you use the course select knob here, line your lines up, line the course deviation line up to your centre, to the other two lines. So basically you're just conjoining all the lines together. And then use your heading mode if you're in heading mode, or just fly towards it. And now we can select nav mode and it should follow that. Fine. There we go. So I'm under nav mode now. It's easier once again if I just zoom in that like that, so you can see we're under nav in autopilot, and it's just going to follow that VOR now. We've got it all lined up. Huh, no problem. So to find a good view out of the window with the Cessna 182, do you think, Hudson? Let me just try, Kyle. I mean, it depends, obviously. With the Tolby, problem fixed. Stick your head out the window. But if you're looking around, yeah, it's... no, I don't know. I mean, it's about on par with the Cessna 172 152. It does have good visibility. No, I've not found it to be awkward. Visibility-wise, looking out the windows. Well, there's nothing much to look at there. We're just looking over water. Whilst we're following this VOR down, we will be over land at some point, guys, don't worry. But there's Sab. That's the VOR I'm following. You can see it on the VFR map. I'm keeping the VFR map open there. In fact, is that cheating? Close that, because we do have some kind of Garmin system installed here. We're just zooming in. I can just zoom out on the map there. Which one's zoom in, zoom out? There we go. Well, that's about the range it gives us. It's not quite as far as you can get with the VFR map, but you'll be able to see Sab soon and goodness knows what. There we go, so we'll leave it that way. We'll do things proper. Just turn that off, that's going to be distracting just while I move around a little bit. Seems seated high, then hard to see over the dash. Okay, so let's just keep it. So I've not got my Tolby turned on. I'm not seeing it, Kyle. I'm getting quite good views, personally. I mean, you can change your default view in the cockpit. May have a video on that or two. No, I'm not finding any difficulties with the viewers, in fact. I've got them locked. It's going to open the window in flight. Never mind. Can you not do that? I've not tried that. Seems you can't. Seems it's locked in flight. That's a shame. Good to have the wind rushing through our hair so I can stick my head out properly. Yeah, I don't know, I'm not finding it. It's just nice to fly something different and pay where aircraft generally give you a little bit more authenticness as well. So there you go, this is the airport we're coming up on. That's Dundee Airport. Now, let me stop messing around there, put you in external view. How are you all doing this Friday evening, by the way, just while I look at Dundee Airport's information here. So, Dundee. We have, which runway do we want to land on there? We want to land on runway 27, and the ILS for 27. Are you going to give it to me? ILS for 27. Is it Dundee Airport that I want to land on? Do bear with me. It's not Dundee Airport I want to land on. It will be EGQL. At runway 26, I believe, which has an ILS of 10855. So let's just get back in the cockpit there. So 10855. Let's just zoom in and out. I'm just going to use my Logitech radio panel again. 10855. Did I call that the multi-panel before? I believe I did. And there you go, the ILS frequency. So you can tune into ILS frequencies. The only thing is here, you wouldn't use your course select for this. You would navigate towards that that sort of course deviation line. So I'm just going to bank left to bring the course deviation lines in. And you do have to do a course select now. You do yes. So let's try and not confuse the issue here. So runway 26, the bearing, you do have to move the localizer bearing, which is 263. So you do have to move this bearing. So we'll move this round to 26. Try and get the best view of that. 263. To be around about there. And heading mode now. So let's just move that heading a little bit. And as soon as that's course deviation line, sorry, I'm moving you around a lot. As soon as that course deviation indicator line starts to move in, we can go straight to approach mode. Now let's just see in this Garmin. What did I just do there? In this Garmin, it doesn't give you your range to the airport, your distance to the airport. It does tell you you're on an ILS, but it doesn't actually give you your distance. As far as I know, usually it would come up here or down here. But as I'm using the radio panel, I can see I've got 20 nautical miles out from this ILS, from this airport, so it's no issue. So as soon as the course deviation deviation indicator line starts to move in, I can go straight to approach mode there. I've done a couple of videos on this if you're a bit stuck, so do look over my Back to Basics series. So it's not really the aircraft you're flying that counts, it's the pilot, absolutely, Mike, yep. Something like that, yep. I've heard that before. Yeah, there's a couple of freeware 182s out there as well. Can't think from the top of my head. Yeah, I was thinking the same for a Coronado. I was thinking, do I want to get this? I wasn't really a fan of theirs, but I think it's quite nice. The 146 on the Xbox seems to be as good as the PC. The external textures seem better on the PC. So the PBR texturing and 4K texturing and goodness knows what. But I am on a Series S, so you've got to, you know, that's understandable. Possibly on the Series X, it looks similar to the PC, the 146. Big fan of that aircraft, probably my favourite airliner at the moment. So I've been flying a lot of airliners of late, or flying a lot of the 146 of late. So there we go, I'll just wait. So we've changed our course select. Oh, I can see it from here, can't I? So it's 246. 246. So when the course deviation line starts to come in, there is an approach mode down here you can press, but I'll press it on my multi-panel. Too many panels. I've got a multi-panel, Logitech multi-panel and radio panel. I use them both frequently. There you go, the course deviation line's moving in. I can press the approach mode straight away. What it will do is lock onto that, not only the course, but once you start to see the glide slope indicator, the little 2 arrows that will come up here, it will lock onto that as well. Oops, let's move the mouse. And guide us down to the runway. So it's lining us up now with the runway. When the glide slope indicator lines start to appear, it will even follow the glide slope down. Isn't that neat? So yeah, things like this make the Cessna 182 quite nice to fly, I've got to say. But as I'll show you in a moment, I'm having a bit of an issue following switching. Once you switch to an ILS back to a VOR, it will switch back to that VOR we were on. But trying to go forward from there, wait and see, I'll show you in a moment. Does it show anything about distance there? I can see it on my radio panel, 19 nautical miles. Nothing up here. Never mind. Can I pronounce this airport? Probably not. It's... Scottish people are going to kill me for this. Is it Le Chars? Luchars? That's the way it's pronounced, or that's the way it sounds. L-E-U-C-H-R-A-S. E-G-Q-L. Let's just make sure that is E-G-Q-L. Huh. Yeah, and it tells you what ILS you're lined up with there as well. You do get options for different Garmin systems in this aircraft on PC. So you can install the GTN 75 or GTN 750 rather XI. I don't have either, I've just left it default. I must give them a try to see if it makes any difference. As I'll show you in a moment, I'm having a little bit... There you go. Glide slope indicator lines are here. So these two yellow sort of arrows here, these will start to come down. Once they do, the autopilot, because I've got it in approach mode, will follow these down as well to the runway, which is nice. Quick advice on being a host on a flight. Not done it before, but it seems not that hard. Really just keeping people interested, perhaps. Yeah, do you mean on one of my flights, or generally? I mean, the thing is to know the course. What I would recommend is get to know the course you're flying inside out, so you can just reel off interesting points about where you're flying over and that type of thing. If you're hosting it, if you're going to be the host of the flight, Mike, yes, keeping people interested depends on your personality. I watch a few live streams. I watch a few different personalities, shall we say. I guess I'm quite a relaxed personality, but I do try and make things a little bit more exciting when need be. An eye tracker for Xbox, I've not heard anything about that yet, Kyle. Would be fantastic. Yeah, I've heard nothing. There's a lot of things missing on Xbox. I mean, it's getting better. If you saw my recent video about flight controllers, you've got a heck of a lot currently on Xbox that you can choose from. Not as many as you've got on PC, that's always been the way. But a cheap yoke system is missing from Xbox. That's going to be a money maker for a company. A cheap yoke like a Logitech flight yoke system for Xbox, £100. There's a big gap in the market for that, and eye tracking or VR or something like that. Oh, thanks, Mike. Which course? This one? Oh, you practice the course yourself. Yeah, get to know the different points of interest on the course. So you can just point things out. So if you're stuck for something to say, like this course, I mean, I know obviously we're flying towards England. I know a little bit about the points of interest. But I'm just more chatting with you chaps. I'm more practice at it, I guess. I don't get too nervous now. I'm just over 9 nautical miles out. So I'm just going to bring my throttle back to 75%. Want to get my throttle to around about here, ideally before I bring my landing gear down. That should slow us to flaps 1 speed. And on parts like this, Mike, so when you're coming up to a landing, there's lots to talk about, as long as you practice it. The glide slope indicators, these will start moving down. We're in approach mode, as you can see here. In approach mode. So we don't have much to do apart from controlling our speed, which is nice. And I'm a lone flyer. There's a few people around there, as you can see, on a live server, Northeast Europe. You can see the airport we're coming into, so if anybody wants to jump on and join, that can maintain about 160 knots, you'll be most welcome. So, 7 nautical miles, 6. Bring my throttle back to 50%, that should slow us down to about 120. Once we get beyond that, I'll bring my gear down. Doesn't come with an instruction manual, this. I did find some manual for procedures with the RG. Maybe I should link that in my review that I did of it. It's not a very thorough manual or documentation generally. Okay, let me just concentrate. I'll bring the gear down. We're at roughly that speed that I want to be at. There we go, gear comes down. Something you have to remember in a Cessna 182. And just bring my throttle down if I get towards flaps before the glide slope indicator reaches here. That'll be good, because that's when we'll start descending. Put on my Toby again, just so I can pop over the front of the aircraft so we can see the runway roughly. And as you can see with this model, I shouldn't be talking about this now while we're landing, but it's under autopilot. You see even nicks in the yoke there. If you look down, a kind of dirty or worn carpet and rudder pedals. It's just all very nice. You don't get this in the default aircraft. That's why I like it. Partly, and all these things it can do. There we go, we're descending under glide slope. I didn't get my flaps in, did I? I'll put them in now. There we go. Bring my throttle back a bit more. Another stage of flaps just to get us to 18 knots more or less. And it's all doing, the autopilot's doing its thing. It's following the glide slope, following the localizer. I'll just do a quick touch and go here. And I'll take it off autopilot when we get near to the runway. Never like to land it on autopilot. Just stop that flashing down here, we don't need a transponder, thank you. And these are your nav 2 radios. Now switching, anybody know how to switch to nav 2 in this thing? I couldn't figure that out either. Could do with some documentation, proper documentation, this aircraft. Unless there is some and I've missed it. I was looking before, I couldn't find any. Apart from procedures. There is a link to the sort of procedures, and I think specifications. That's, you know, I mean, you know, you're paying good money for it. You should get a good thorough manual. And you know, the pilot handbook per se is important to read when when you're learning about an aircraft. Watch for an upcoming video on that. I've got a couple of videos planned, but certainly aircraft proficiency is one that I want to get into. And this is what this is all about as well for me. Not enough practice in the 182, but it's quite straightforward, isn't it? Quite straightforward. Letting the autopilot land us while we're doing that. It's the time I like to mess around with my Toby. Peek out the window again. It's great when you're going overland. You do get some kind of vertigo. Be careful if you're interested in the Toby. It's very similar to VR in that sense. Never had this issue with track IR or D-line clip, but you do get a bit of makes you feel a bit woozy at times. Which is good. It means it's actually replicating what it's like looking over your wing or your bonnet. Yeah, so just be careful if you suffer from motion sickness. This is not going to help. Okay, straighten up there. You know, autopilot off. I can guide this down myself. Didn't do a good job of... That was the course that I set up on the VOR down below. Maybe I didn't set it up quite correctly there. Never mind, bring my throttle back. And just float it over the runway. Once we're low enough, I'll null the throttle. And just let it float onto the runway. Come on. Good grief, it's floating, isn't it? Right, throttle back up. Bit of rudder action. It's going to take off straight away. I can raise those flaps. Just be careful there, because you will start to descend if you do that too quickly. Raise my gear. And swap my radio, nav radios, and there you go, the VOR for the SAB basically is back on again. So autopilot, where's my heading bug? It's all the way down there, but I can move it with my multi-panel. Bring it to around there. Encourage, actually, Hudson, do this properly. Let's use the course select line. We're following a VOR now, so we can just line these lines up. We're going from that way. Now we're going to... Oops. Gently, gently. So we want to be on a heading of around there to get towards Sab. So it's nice when you can do things like this with it. It's very nice. And in fact, I can put it into nav mode. That will follow that perfectly. If you're not sure about that, I didn't link the Back to Basics VOR flying down below in the description, but I have done videos on this. Slightly different here with what we're doing. It's just oldie worldy navigation, but it still works. In fact, regardless of what I do with my heading bug there, it's not going to follow because it's under nav mode. What are you doing, nav? It's going to fly us out and fly us back in by the looks of things. Let's keep an eye on that. If not, I'm going to take it back off nav mode. Don't like that. Don't like that. It's actually rolling. So let's put it back to heading mode. Okay, this way. Thank you. Line the lines up, make sure it's all lined up, then we can go back to nav. That's no problem. We'll fly onwards to Newcastle Airport. So what are your plans this weekend, chaps? Anything nice planned? There we go, we're getting some lovely views. Still over Scotland at the moment, near Dundee. Hear the lovely sounds off the Cessna 182 as well, and that's another good point. You do get excellent sound pack with this aircraft, so well worth picking up. Where are we flying over there? Well, looks like St Andrews. Little nav map is useful for that type of thing. I believe I've got orbits north installed. I believe so. I'm not fully convinced, but I think I do. I have it installed in central, if I do have it installed. Let's get back in the aircraft, see what my... Yeah, so we're still flying, just conjoining the... In fact, I can conjoin them myself a little bit better. Head towards that heading, and we're flying straight towards Sab. Which is there, as you can see on this map. So using the inbuilt Garmin system here. See, we're flying straight towards there. Now, nav mode, were you going to work now? Just see what it does, see if it lines up. It's got nav here, so it's not saying roll, so that's a good start. Carries on like this. Figure that. Back into heading mode. I'll just follow it manually. It's not a problem. So I don't know if that's a fault with the aircraft. As you'll see later, I'm going to actually tune in now. Let me just find. Well, the aircraft's turning there for you. I'll come back to it in a moment. The next VOR along the route, which is NTP rather, Newton, so it's NTP 108.70. So 108.70, don't worry, I'm just using my radio panels to tune that in. So that's the standby frequency I've got tuned in there. Let me just make sure that's correct. 108.70, and you'll see an oddity in a moment. Let me just fix my views, it's better. So we'll follow this manually. Looks like we're flying over the ocean. We are not. Let me just open the VFR map. Well, we are, but we're not flying away from land. We're flying over this sort of gulf here. So towards SAP and then towards NTP, which I have a couple of issues with. But you'll see that as we approach. Now that line starts to move in. Effectively... Oh, we'll just keep it. I'll just follow it on heading, it's fine, it's not an issue. This weekend, going to a free air show. Very nice. Boundary Bay. Oh, where's that? Won't be fancy, but a nice outing just the same. Yeah, I bet. I bet. Sounds quite interesting. So let that just come in a little bit more. The V-lock, so I'm not on nav mode. So effectively, should be able to press nav. I just want to figure this out. Just a second. Wasn't doing this before to me. As soon as you start to enter an ILS frequency with VORs on this, unless you do your ILS last, it does seem to mess the whole system up. Never mind. We're heading straight towards SAB now, so that should be fine. You may find on another flight it works perfectly fine, so... Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's going on, but under heading mode it's not difficult to follow. From unseen estates, never been to Europe. I hope to travel more in the future and see England, the places, any places I recommend. Aside from London, it's always good to see. Manchester's quite an interesting place. It's my birth town, birth city. Greater Manchester is more my birth city. But it's quite an interesting and lively place. You've got lots of places, Oxford, Cambridge, Scottish Highlands are beautiful to see, and the Welsh mountains as well. It's going to be a lot to do with that, depending on the size of your holiday. I mean, London will be the main place, but this south coast is lovely. I live in the south coast, and depending what time of year you come, we get some beautiful weather. It's in the Vancouver area. Okay, Mike, yep. I haven't flown from Squamish before, no. Love to see the Midlands. I was there the other week, the Midlands. Now let's just follow nav now. Let's just see what... Is it going to bring us... Let's just see what the autopilot will do here. Ah. No. Keep it in heading mode. Doesn't matter, we're flying towards SAB anyway. And as we near SAB, I'm going to switch over to the new frequency, which is a Newton VOR, and you'll see this kind of locks up. It will show the distance and give you the information down here, but you can't do or display anything here, at least previously when I tried this. And I don't know, it seems to be a strange interaction as soon as you enter an ILS frequency in between flying VORs. Yeah, I'll show you in a moment. So let's just check. We've got under 16 nautical miles towards SAB. That's fine. Land's End, yeah. You know, I don't even know if I've been to Land's End. I must have been as a kid. Certainly not recently. Devon, all those areas. I'm actually hoping I was going to go to Paris in a couple of weeks' time, or just over a week, but I had a change of plan. EasyJet here are messing around, cancelling flights. Eurostar is mega expensive, and I just thought, I can't be bothered. Love to see Paris again, but I'll do it in the future. But I'll probably end up in Blackpool. Anybody from the UK, you're going to laugh at that, but Blackpool was the holiday destination of my childhood, and I've not been there for ages. So I'm considering going to Blackpool for a few days and yeah, treat myself to a nice hotel there. It's my sort of annual holiday. And then a few days back in London. I do enjoy visiting London as well. So that's my plans. What's my heading doing? It's fine, we're following that VOR. So yeah, if you fancy something interesting, Blackpool. It's got like a miniature Eiffel Tower. No, it's not small, but it's a smaller Eiffel Tower. I think it was made by the same designer. It's based on the Eiffel Tower. But it's like the Las Vegas of England. Although Southend's meant to be quite a nice... I've never been there. Southend in the east, I believe, isn't it? There's my ignorance coming up. Yeah, wait till things calm down as well, and the riots and goodness knows what. Blackpool was the place to be. Now it's turned into some kind of casino land, which is a shame, but it's still got the pleasure beach. Had the highest roller coaster in Europe at one time, Blackpool. The big one, Pepsi big one, it's probably been surpassed now. So okay, chaps, I'm going to show you. Now we're coming up. I'll wait till I pass by Sab. So let's try it this way. I'm going to wait till I pass by. I'm in heading mode. So that's the heading bug. So if you see that move, I'm using my multi-panel. You can do it down here as well, so you can move the heading bug if you don't have the multi-panel. Or use your controller if you've got heading bug manipulation set up on that. So that's what I'm doing, following the VOR manually, per se. What's the stream like, chaps? I'm showing excellent connection. I tried last week. We had a storm here, so it was a no-go. But it looks okay now. And once I switch, I'm going to switch over, so the next VOR should be Newton. Those are the right frequencies. Let me just double check. Sorry if this is disorientating to you, but it's easier to use Toby to zoom in. 108.7. I'll just double check on my little nav map. Yeah, Newton VOR 108.7. So we'll see what happens here. So we'll pass by it, let that arrow turn downwards, which means we'll be flying away from it. And if necessary, we'll just fly away from Sab if it does lock up again. Yeah, Paris, there's a lot of riots over there, weren't there? And I mean, there was a lot here a fair few years ago in London. And I was working in London a week before the riots, and you could feel the tension then. Similar, once there's a riot, it's an excuse for people to go mental, it seems. So people rioting for the wrong reasons, or destroying property for the wrong reasons. Well, there's never a good reason to destroy property. But I'm not going to get political in this video, live stream. It seems that people will just join the bandwagon who are not interested in the political reasons for rioting, or the reasons for rioting in the first place, and just start destroying things because they've got a free reign, basically. That happened in London not too long ago. So there we go, still in Toby. So in Toby, in external view, you can still move your head around, right round if I need to, with nobody following me. Take a look. Doesn't work too well as zooming in. You can't really zoom in the external view, but you can internally, of course. So 2 nautical miles to go. The radio is going to get a bit jittery going towards it, so we don't need to follow it when we're this close to it, but I'll just turn my heading bug some way towards it. And effectively what should happen, let me just turn Toby off. This course deviation line indicator should go to the end and come back in, and this arrow will flip downwards to show we're flying away. There you go, as it is. It will go out, then come back in. So who's going to that air show again? Let me just... sorry. It's you, Mike, isn't it? Going to the air show? Yep. Do let us know how that goes. Not been to an air show for years. There you go. arrows flip downwards, course deviation line. I'm going to change frequencies now. I use my... Oh, I can just swap using this. There you go, that lock there. If anybody knows, I can't do anything with these lines now. Now, we are flying some way towards Newton. But effectively, what happens, as soon as you start entering ILS's flying VORs, this comes up, which means this is locked. I can't do anything. I can't change anything. And even though it's showing the information for NTP, Newton, VOR, and the distance, and there it is down here, I can't do anything here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch back and fly from Sab. There we go, so we're flying from now. That's disappeared, so that's fine. So we can just keep those lines aligned to fly away from it. And I don't know what's going on there. If you fly VOR to VOR in this thing, and then do an ILS at the end, it all works fine. If you fly a VOR, put an ILS in, then fly VOR, then try and swap, you get this lock mechanism here. And I've tried all sorts. I've spent 20 minutes messing around with this, trying to... And there's no proper documentation, so let's just follow Sab out. And it will give us the distance out from Sab. That's fine. And just bring up my VFR map again. So yeah, if anybody knows how to fix that issue, because I'm failing to fix it, I'm failing to find out what the problem is. Where these aircraft are down here... Oh no, this is Newcastle. No, it's not. I was right the first time. That's Newcastle, isn't it? No, it's not. Bear with me for a second. Newcastle, EGNT. So was that not? Let me just zoom out the map a little bit. We're up here. Newcastle should be... Let me just find this, chaps. Just bear with me for a second. EGNT. It is there. Okay, the aircraft are over it, so they're just obscuring the runway. Try and zoom... Ah, there we go. We can get it there. EGNT. Get off. EGNT. So it's the same ILS frequency, I believe. 111 decimal 500. So I can put that in. So we do it down here. 111 decimal 500 or 50. So that's 50 and use the bigger knob. 111 decimal 50. Once we get near there, we'll switch to that, and that will work fine. What I will do here is keep my VFR map open. We're flying towards NTP roughly anyway, and once we get past that, I'll switch it into ILS mode. So we're flying away from Sab. Let's try that again. No, now I've changed the frequency. Now it's not going to work. Never mind. I was going to try that switch again, but never mind. We're flying away from Sab, so I'll just keep an eye on that. You do get a good range out, so you can fly, I don't know what the range is, 30 to 60 nautical miles out from Sab, and still keep track of the VOR flying away from it. It's not an issue. It'll never be your fault. Must be the weather is rubbish, something. Can't blame. Yeah. I'm half going to blame the... I do think it possibly is a fault with the aircraft, but I don't want to go 100% on that, because it works fine in other aircraft doing that, so you can use ILSs in between VORs. Yeah, that lock mechanism shouldn't come up. I'm not sure what it is, but it may be something that I'm not doing, so I don't want to blame it completely. Hi, Blue Boy, how you doing? Hope you're well. Making a point of watching the air tattoo. Ooh, getting some much-needed flying practice this weekend. Rain forecast for Belfast, so great excuse, absolutely. Perfect stream so far. Thanks, Blue Boy. Much appreciated. It would never be your fault, Mike. No. So there we go, we're flying out. We're flying somewhere towards NTP anyway. I'll just keep that those radials aligned. In fact, remember it's VOR in this case, so you can just use the course select. Don't do this only to line up with the bearing on ILS. You're just lining up the lines in VOR mode here. I'll show you that again a little bit later. Is someone behind me? I feel like I'm being followed. Maybe someone's with me. And maybe it's just people flying around. That's fine. So that's good. We'll get to Newcastle. Then from Newcastle, I'll actually go direct to. I'll show you the direct to with the default Garmin system here. It's a bit finicky, not surprising, but it does work. But yeah, that was a big shock to me, a bit of a disappointment to me when that starts to happening, when that starts to lock up and I can't use it. I don't know what the issue is. I've been throwing switches all over the place. I've been through every single switch in this aircraft and nothing I do. I'll show you again a little bit later. We'll tune into a different VOR away from Newcastle. And you'll probably find... You won't be a baboon, good to know. Don't be a baboon, Paints, please. Yeah, Mike, I don't know what it is. Don't know what's causing it. I've been watching other videos on it. We need some documentation, please, Coronado, on this aircraft. Some proper documentation. If it's something we need to do, I can't find out what it is I need to do. And if you just join the stream now, I'm just having trouble with VORs. I can follow VORs, the first one. As soon as I enter an ILS in between that, the VOR locks up, and I'll show you that again a little bit later. I just want to come to my left a little bit here. So we're still flying away. It'll still give you the distance away from SAB. But I want to get on the VFR map around about here so I can line up, have a good approach into... Maybe I've come a bit too far there. Newcastle. So we're entering England now. If not already. Is it true there's a 2022 update to Flight Sim? Not that I've heard. That's the first I've heard of that. There'll be a 2024 update next year, with hope. But not 2022. Oh, one thing I can do here, and you can do this internally, which is nice. So if you get down here, it will show you your gallons remaining here. And gallons used. So from setting off, I've used just over 15 gallons. And I've got 45 gallons remaining here, so that's quite nice. You do that for flow as well, just to highlight the point there. You can put and add fuel. I've got 74%. If you just hover over that, it tells you how much fuel you got in. So that should do us. I'm not going to add more fuel, unless I need to. Should do us for this journey. There's the Comanche over there, look. Who mentioned the Comanche before? That was Oggy, wasn't it? No, 2022, I've never heard of it. You're making final preparations for the live flight, Discord, and Microsoft Flight Sim. Okay, yep. Are you doing a flight, Mike? Maybe I can watch that after this. Omnitech, I've not heard anything about that, I'm afraid. Are you sure you're not confusing it with Flight Sim 2024? So how are we doing on our course here? We're just passing NTP now, so I can see on our... I mean, you can see down here as well, if necessary. On this little Garmin screen. that we're passing NTP. I'm just keeping the VFR map open just because I don't have any visualization. And let's face it, if you're flying aircraft nowadays, you will have some, even on your telephone, have a GPS facility somehow, even if it's not in the aircraft itself. There we go, a few people flying around there. Anybody flying behind me? Still using Toby there to look around. There we go. Take that off. So yeah, I do use Toby quite a lot, especially, you know, when I'm just going for a flight and I just want to look around. Sometimes you have to reset your view. There you go, it's put me behind my seat at the moment, so there's key F12 for me. I've just set that up to reset track IR in Flight Sim. It lets you see more detail than you would normally see in different angles, like that, if you want to. Than you could normally get in the sim unless you start playing with your cursor keys. You can really get, so when you get a new aircraft, you can really take a good look at what the aircraft has to offer. It's great for that type of thing. You sent an invite to me. Okay, in Discord. Okay, I'll take a look in a moment then, Mike. Yeah, let me just see. Yeah, I did get a message from you the other day, didn't I? Let's just see. Aviation Mike. Is that flying around the Gulf Islands? Is that with a virtual airline, Mike? That's interesting. It's something I'm looking to make a video on. You're still using the Logitech attack. Sorry, have I still got you in, Toby? I don't. I just saw my screen there. Still using Logitech Attack 3 and it works like a charm. Yeah, can't let it go unless I become rich to get some proper heavy gear. Yeah, I mean, you know, use whatever you prefer really. What's good for you. I was using the Black Widow joystick for years, and then the Holtas 4 when Flight Sim first released. Oh no, I was using my Logitech Flight Yoke. Can't forget that. That's one of my first videos. But yeah, before the Logitech Flight Yoke, before my very first yoke, I was just using simple Holtas myself. We're missing, there's a gap in the market for a good force feedback. Reasonably priced. I mean, you can buy force feedback, but you're spending over £1,000. Yoke system or joystick for Flight Sim. Does support force feedback, apparently. The Brunner yoke supports it. But, you know, I'm not going to spend £1,000 currently on a yoke. Unless, like you were saying that. Unless you become rich, yeah. Not virtual airlines. Okay, okay. Favourite GA plane, I've still got to say it's probably still the Cessna 172. It's just what I fly a lot, and if I'm practicing something, it's my go-to aircraft, unless I need something a bit quicker. Quick is also good. Talking about quicker, Quick is a good aircraft. It's on Xbox and PC. I enjoy that. The visual aspects of that, looking out like the windows, is fantastic. Probably though, yeah, the old Cessna 172. If somebody makes a good payware Cessna 172, I'll be straight in for that. Sidewinder, does it work in Flight Sim? It should do. Yeah, I mean, it may not auto-configure. Using a Wickel joystick. No. I've heard of them, Mike, but I've never used one. That's right, yeah. Yeah, the Brunner yoke, Omnitech, yeah, and the Yoko yoke. Yoko's not force feedback, unless the Yoko Plus is. I'm not sure about that. But the Brunner yoke is one I really want to try. Not only does it have force feedback, depending what aircraft you fly, the actual force on the yoke will change. So if you're flying a light aircraft, you know, you're going to find it easy. If you're flying an airliner, You're going to find your arms are going to fall off as you try to pull it back. The Brunner, watch this space. If I get the money for it and I can justify it, it's one I really want to try at some point. At least try. Okay, we're getting towards Newcastle. I'm going to change over. Switch the nav frequency. There you go. Now that lock box is gone. And remember, you've got to tune in your bearing. So bearing for runway 27, let me just see, 25 rather, is 246. So the bearing knob down here, basically your course knob, just change this to 246. Let's say 246. I'll double check that in a second. So that means when you start to turn, start to go under approach mode, it will line you up correctly. 246. 246. I just want to double check it is runway 25. It must be 25, yep. So there we go. And what we can do, we're in heading mode, aren't we? So I'll just put this around here. Once the course deviation line starts to come in, we're 21 nautical miles away from it, so no worries. I'll put it back into approach mode. See, this works fine. Switching back to a VOR doesn't. Locks up. I don't know what's causing it. I want to get to the bottom of it. The Wickle not made anymore now. Kyle, I am using the Velocity 1 flight stick. Yoke, I'm getting something for that, so I will be doing another video. I stuck physically the, what do you call it, the XPC yoke to my desk. I've got the Velocity 1 on my Velocity 1 flight stand, so I can still use it, and I will be using it, because there's, like I said, a couple of products for it that I'm going to do a video on when they arrive. But mainly the XPC yoke. I miss the Velocity 1, because the trim wheel and the switches and buttons, you don't need anything else with it. You don't even need rudders with it, in fact. Effectively, the trigger buttons on that are fantastic. But no, the XPC yoke is a step above it in terms of fluidity, responsiveness, shall we say. It's just got the whole effect sensors in it are incredible. So yeah, sorry about the moment. It's the XPC yoke, but I miss my Velocity 1 flight yoke. I'll put it that way. But the functions alone with it. So we'll let this course deviation line come in. We'll press the approach button. I'll do it here, down here this time. And it will lock on and follow the glide slope. There's the glide slope indicators either side. Slow myself down just a tad there. You can hear the engine change. Just move to the left a little bit. Bank to the left a little bit. So this is good. This is good practice, because I've not practiced in the 182 since I've bought it. I flew it around a little bit and didn't practice in it. So this is good because it refreshes your memory of the knobs and different functions here that you have to set up. Get the hang of it again. Loving the yoke for airliners, yeah, and those throttle, yeah, the yoke for airliners, yeah, absolutely, Kyle, yeah. 100 off, what, the Velocity 1? Oh, the yoke, the Alpha, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Russell, I need to get all of the Bravo, really, don't I? I'm using the Logitech throttle system, but it works well. I'll probably get myself a Bravo for Christmas, buy myself a Christmas present. Get it for Christmas. And I'm sure a few of you are still waiting for my settings video on the XPC and Bravo. Yeah, you told me, Carl. You've repeated that 3 times, my friend. Carl's loving the yoke, guys. For airliners. That's fine. Chat away. Probably by the 182 RG when the weather gets rubbish, yeah. It's a lovely aircraft, mate. There's just a couple of oddities with it I've found, but it could be something that I'm not doing. By the way, chaps, Concorde and the Kodiak are on sale. Gonna pick up the Kodiak myself, I still don't have it. Both on sale, about 43% off, 46% off. Under £20 for each. Concorde, go and get it if you don't have it. It's my recommendation. I've done a couple of videos on it, and it's just fun, the Concorde. Mach 2 around the world. So yeah, check on the marketplace. Xbox and PC, they're both on sale. What's that? The Bravo, Mike? Russell, rather. £80, not bad. It sounds like the Bravo. Don't have much trouble. I think the XPC is, you know, it doesn't have those mechanical parts, Hall sensors, so you're not going to find much trouble with the XPC yoke. Famous last words. What's going on with this ILS? Course deviation line? Okay, well, let's zoom in on this VFR map. I'll show you what's happening. We're not in line with the runway yet, which is here. Once we get down to here, you'll see the course deviation line come in. In the meantime, I'll slow myself a little bit more because I don't want to miss the glide slope indicators. There you go, it's coming down now, isn't it? So, approach mode. Autopilot will follow that course in for us. As long as I've got the course correct here, 246, we should be lined up. And it should follow it down. Simple, simple. So it's lovely for this, the 182. Lovely for these kinds of approaches, as long as the airport's got an ILS. Keep that in mind. Yeah, I watched Sim Hangars. I didn't fancy it at first, but it's just an aircraft that, you know, it's kind of one of those aircraft that you must own, really. Yeah, Russell, I got that, yeah. Yeah, the Bravo Throttle Quadrant, yeah. I got what you mean, So we go back into Tolby, we can just peer over, can we see the runway? We're still over 10 nautical miles out from it, so I can just see that. No distance down here, as you noticed, to the ILS, so I don't know if that's meant to be there as well. There's no way I could bring it up that I found, but on my radio panel it tells me I'm 11.6 nautical miles out, which is yonder, over there somewhere. We're back over land now. Once we get onto land, we'll stay on land and go to Leeds. So there we go. So this is all lining up, and it will follow the... I can bring my gear down now, can't I? I'll wait till 10... Well, we're just approaching 10 nautical miles. Gear comes down. There we go. Throttle back a little bit more to get towards stage 1 flaps. Should be about this white arc here. Once you get near that, it's okay for flaps. Before we start descending on the glide slope, which is still a while away, so I'm not going to worry about that. I don't want to slow too much at 10 nautical miles. I normally leave that till about 6, so I'll keep it there. Just do a slow approach into Newcastle, that's fine. Yeah, a lot of fans of the Kodiak. I did promise my Discord I'll buy the Kodiak as well. It's a nippy little aircraft as well, so yeah. Yeah, I'll pick it up when it's on sale. I'm just at the end of the month and I'm just waiting for my pay to go in. I've got my my pay slip, but not pay yet, so I like to budget these things rather than dip into savings. Although I may do, if necessary. So there you go, that's Newcastle, that's our aircraft. So we're all doing well. Is anybody around us that I know? Paint, yeah, it is you, okay. And Blue Boy, you're with me too, great. You're in the Cessna Grand Caravan. So yeah, if you know how to set up your ILSs in the Grand Caravan, do that. It follows it nicely. And we're up. Oh, come on, let's go a little bit quicker there. As soon as the glide slope indicator starts to move down, 8 nautical miles out. See, we've slowed down quite a bit now, so nice slow approaching. Gives you time to catch up, chaps. There's the airport right ahead of us. probably see it there. Do I need to reset my Toby? Sometimes you just need to reset it if you've moved in your seat. There we go. That's better. Just ahead of us there. Whilst we're over land and we've got a Toby, you stick your head out the window, it gets... your stomach starts to turn. It's a nice feeling. So it really feels like you are flying. Very nice. I tend to use it on and off the Toby, so I'll use it. Now I've just moved again, haven't I? Sorry. I'll use it. Particularly handy to zoom into your instruments to see what's happening and to make yourself a bit sick. But then, you know, you just got to get used to it to fly with it all the time. Free aircraft are hard to make for... Are they? I heard that. No, I've got to fly too. There's quite a lot of free aircraft actually. The Cessna 152 Authentic... or I did a video about the Cessna 152. Fantastic aircraft. Chaps remind me when I'm live streaming, those names disappear. But you do get quite a few good, every now and again, almost payware quality aircraft freeware. Is it Authenticates? Not Authenticates. What are they called? JP Logistics. JP Logistics. There we go. Older version aircraft, you mean from Flight Simulator days? Flight Simulator X days? Not that. No. No. So I own a few Flight Simulator X aircraft, but they don't work with this or Prepared 3D. If that's what you mean, Russell. There we go. So, because I've got approach mode activated, it's following the glide, slowed down. I'll go to another stage of flaps just to keep our speed nice and steady there within the flaps range. Get to around 80 knots or so. Over the runway we can slow down even more. No worries. There we go, you can see it just ahead of us there. Well, let's just take a look. Still got Toby. Blue Boy paint is still behind us, that's great. Are you using ILSs, guys? It's not a prereq. I'm doing it in my aircraft just because I can now. Well, let's just turn the Toby off. As soon as I move my head down, I'll switch a window to look at chat. It's a bit distracting for you. That's why I'm not using it all the time currently. Didn't work. What is that on the JP Logistics mic? Never had trouble with that. With the radios. Tiger Moth is a peach. No, Pate, you're not using ILS. That's okay. You can do it manually. I'm just being lazy here, just letting the autopilot do it. It's one of the beauties of the 182 here. Of course, you can do this in the Cessna 172 and anything that's got ILS capabilities. It's quite easy to do in this aircraft. What I'll do, chaps, is do a full stop here, come off the runway, just because I want to get myself a drink of water. My glass is dry, and I am on water tonight. Now, if I need to line up with that runway, I want to come to I can use that course select. It should be the same as the 182 here. Just move it to the right a little bit, and it should line me up better. So if you find yourself not quite lined up, move that course dial, and the autopilot will follow it. There's a tip for you. Going to move it a couple of notches more to the right. There you go, you can see the aircraft following the course select there, which is nice. Once we get over the runway, not near enough, take the autopilot off and do a floaty landing again. Bring the speed down. I've not got it nulled at the moment. Still got some speed in there till I'm well over the runway and I'm low enough to reduce it fully. Come on, dear chap. There we go. So I'll just come off here to the left and just get myself a drink of water. And you can watch. Yeah, let's do this quickly. Just stick the parking brake on, get outside. You can watch the other chaps land here just while I get their paint. Blue boy. Chaps, take over just while I get a drink. There we go, nice landing paint. Let's just see Blue Boy land here. Oh yeah, you only just got it, Russell. Yeah, experiment. Lots. If you're on PC, there's lots of free stuff that you can download. So it's is it Flight TO2? What's that website called? Someone's gonna have to remind me of that one. Not one I use on it. I think I got the JP Logistics possibly from there. Flight TO something or 2, whatever it's called. Great website for free resources and some great freeware aircraft. Go on, Blue Boy, we're waiting for you there. Whilst Blue Boy's... Oh, no, come on, let him land, because he's very close to the runway now. Here he comes. See if you can smoke it. Should be in drone cam now, but never mind. I'm not got my Xbox 360 controller. Oh, very nice, Blue Boy. Very nice. Nice and smooth. Oh, you okay? Yep. Very nice. There's a Cessna once Grand Caravan. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to find the next VOR that I originally planned, which is Great Dunfell. Duff. Oh! Simpsons, isn't it? Duff VOR. 115.25. So let's get in the aircraft. 115, I can do it with my radio panel, 0.25. Something I recommend you get as well, Russell, if you're on PC, some radio panels. 115.25. I'll switch it now. Now, this will lock up because we're on the floor, but once we're in the air, you're going to see again, it doesn't follow it. It stays locked. It has done for me. And again, if you're just joining me, this seems to be an issue with this aircraft that I found. So let me just explain it for people who have just joined me. If you're watching this live stream back, it doesn't matter. You've heard this before, but I can follow a VOR. It will lock on fine and pick up the coordinates. I'll wait till I'm in the air, see if it does the same here. Pick up, and then you'll see the course deviation line left or right of you, and then you can tune it in. If you follow an ILS and then go back to a VOR, or a new VOR, it seems to lock up. It doesn't seem to let you tune into it. And there's no way I found. It could just be me being dumb, but it would be nice to have some documentation with the aircraft. Oh, not too fast this time. I'm just going to come back to the 2.5 here, chaps. So I don't want to drive over you, so if you just turn around there, taxi around. It's a bit delayed, isn't it? YouTube. So you'll see this side. There you go. They're off now. So I can possibly get around you, paints here. There we go. Thanks. So we'll come back towards 2.5 here and take off again. Don't need all the runway here, in fact. We're in aircraft that will lift off the runway nicely, so... And yeah, I'll show you what I mean when I get up in the air. So I've tuned in a VOR to begin with, went to an ILS, went back to a VOR, tried a different VOR, and I couldn't get any joy. It does give you some, so it's working to some effect. Oh, let's just slow down. It's working to some effect that it will give you the distance and name of the VOR, but you can't use the course deviation line indicator line or the dials to tune into that VOR to follow it. Okay, there we are. Nicely lined up. So we're going to throttle up and take off. And if you know anything about this aircraft, it likes to lift off by itself, which is always nice. No flaps needed. So yeah, I might do a bit. Originally I had planned to do filming in Paris, but if I'm going to Blackpool, I'll do some filming, recording there. Maybe. Right, okay, we're up in the air. Our turn, we're heading generally in the direction of Duff. Make it active. Oh, it is active. There you go. So it gives us the information, DUF, and the distance to it, but I can't do anything here to tune in. And I don't know a way around it. I've tried all kinds of switch combinations, and it only happens to me when I follow a VOR, tune into an ILS, and go back to a VOR. So, chaps, in this case, where are we? I'm going to sync my heading bug. Easiest way to do this is flow, bug up. Thank you. Heading bug's ahead of me there. Autopilot, heading mode. So the aircraft's in heading mode, and I come down, and it will climb up to 1,500 feet. Actually, I need to go a bit higher here. As you'll find out in a moment, the land undulates, so 2,500 will see us safely. The undulation of the land here is a little bit higher, strangely enough, because we're out of Scotland at the moment. Okay, come down to this radio panel down here, our Garmin system, and I'm going to go direct. Let me just see with little nav map. I believe it's EGNM for Leeds, and this will be our final destination. Let me just zoom out so I can see where Leeds is. Is that Leeds? Yep. EGNM. EGNM. So I'm going to move this dial to get to, I mean, you can go here, proceed, would it be proceed with direct to? So I can go to direct to. You move one of these dials, I'm not sure, is it a bigger dial? Or you right click? No, you right click. Right click the knobs here, brings up this cursor. Now I can't enable keyboard mode on this, so I have to do this manually. Now bear with me. Let's go back up to. Oh, I had it. Get off. There. And then use this inner knob, the little knob. And you have to do this manually. So I go to E, use the outer knob to get to the next letter. E, G. This is not a tutorial, this is just showing you that this can do it as well. E, G. And we get to N. Sorry guys, this is painful for some of you, but like I said, without keyboard entry. N. And Rosson, I know you're screaming at me to use, if you're watching this, to use your Garmin system. I don't have it currently attached, but I want to show how you do this manually as well. And M, there you go, Leeds Bradford, press enter and activate. And you can see now it's put it on our course. Because we're under VLOC, we have to change this back to GPS and go to nav. And we're flying straight towards Leeds. We can turn that off, get rid of our map there. And in this case, where are we? Just make sure my screen's correct. I've messed around with those knobs again. In this case, it shows you the distance up here to Leeds, which is 66 nautical miles. We're in. Did I take my landing gear up? Keep forgetting because in the Grand Caravan and Cessna 172 it's a fixed landing gear. So there you go, we'll speed up, we'll get there in no time. We're under nav mode, have to change the CDI back to GPS and then just go to nav mode once you've done a direct to. So that all works fine. Most of it works, apart from what I mentioned before. HSI 1 for perhaps use the HSI for one and VOR for the other. What do you mean, Mike? I'm not quite sure. Get a bowl of cereal so you can fuel up during your live stream. Banning problems. Okay, cheers, yeah. Russell, have you got a link? Are you talking about the same thing here? I might have lost chat a little bit. I've tried, it's not bindings, nothing to do with my bindings. It just, this locks up. Works fine for ILS. If you do a mixture of ILS and VORs in the same flight, it could... Listen, it could be me. It could be something I'm overlooking, but I tried everything prior to live streaming, and nothing seems to unlock that. And if you're flying VOR to VOR, no problems. Let me reiterate that. It's not a problem flying VOR to VOR. It's when you're mixing in VOR and ILSs. Going back to this for a VOR, it doesn't seem to work for me. If anybody has the RG, is there been a recent update that I'm unaware of? I didn't check and I should have done. Okay, you're saving your money for the TBM 850, yeah? Man's 8, what's that? Russell, I'm telling you, it's not a key binding problem. I rarely have those kind of issues. If you're talking about that, this dial here, it's not. Unless I'm mistaken. Okay, link ahead. I could be wrong. I'm going to press D to reset it. Nothing's working. I mean, I've now, to be fair. Well, I can switch back. Let's just take it off. We're going to follow that course anyway. Switch back to VLOC. It will give you the information here. But here, there's nothing I can do to unlock that. I've tried every combination. But I'm open to being wrong about that. Hoping I'm wrong about it, because it's something I like to do, sort of throw ILSs between VORs, that type of thing. Prove me wrong, chaps, please. Superman, 501st. Isn't the 501st a Star Wars reference? Oh, look at these windmills coming up. Oh, that's a Toby moment, isn't it? That's a Toby moment. That's a leaning out the window moment. It's lovely for that, guys, and the feeling of flight you get when looking down like that, looking at the land zipping below you. Just be careful if you've had a few, because you may be getting unfortunate results. There we go, flying over those windmills there, wind farms. Windmills, wind farms. See what I mean? The undulation of the land here, it's higher with 2,500 feet. No, we're not. Arm. Let's bring up verticals. Right, okay. Toby, get off. Arm, vertical speed, and we'll just go up. A little bit higher, bring that back down to, because we almost hit those wind farms. We probably did, in effect, hit them. Bring that to 2,000 feet. There we go, what a lovely picture. Big fan of wind farms. I think they're... I just like the look of them, personally. It's good for the environment as well, of course. We need more of them. But obviously, if you had the whole countryside full of them, it won't be so nice. Climbing with the vertical speed, we are. Arm that again, vertical speed. Go up a little bit higher, 400 feet per minute should do. There you go, chap. Lovely aircraft to fly. It's a big recommendation when I did a review of this. It's just this issue, which I'm not sure what's going on. Okay, Biggers, let's give that a try. If King Charles will share his pay rise. Unlikely, Mike, I'm afraid. In the appendix below the garment. So I'm going to be a bit delayed from chat here, just keep that in mind. You mean this here, do you? This is the nav2, isn't it? Well then how do I swap it into nav2 frequency? That's something I couldn't figure out either. So let's try that. What was the 115.25? So I'll switch my... do it on the radio panel. 115. You'll see this changed. Decimal 25. Switch it back to nav1 as that's the one I'll be using. Make that... oh. Make that active. Put that back into VLOC. But how do you get it into nav2 mode here? It's in nav1 mode. That's something I couldn't figure out either. Please beginners. So it's going to be a bit delayed. Sorry, we'll still be flying towards, staying on the same course. So I'm in VLOC mode, but I do want to solve this. So big ears, if you can help. What an unfortunate name. It's not Charles, is it? There you go, Mike. King Charles in the chat. Better be careful, I'll be shot. Hung, drawn and quartered. Lovely land, isn't it? Well, just whilst you get back to me, big ears, I'll just... It feels wrong calling you Big Ears, but that's your YouTube name. I'll just look over this land here. Love doing that, just love sticking my head out of the window. And just looking at the land. It's worth... The Toby's worth it for that alone, and looking over the nose of your aircraft. And of course, zooming in, it's just so useful. Because is that what you meant? Switch it back to nav for now. Let's just make sure we are following nav. Keep it on course. 43 nautical miles. Flaps, do I need that's fine, just keep them there. Messed around with something before which was a bit unnecessary, but we're doing good speed, 160. BG, come on my friend, I'm waiting for your response there. But there's no rush, we got 40 nautical miles to go. Are you still with me, chaps? Blue Boy, Paint, Boris, are you with us? Maybe not. Still behind, that's great. Yeah, virtual airlines. Watch out for a video coming on that soon. I wanted to do it over this weekend, but I have to wait. There's a couple of reasons, which I won't go into. Got another video in mind for this weekend, if necessary, but yeah, virtual airlines. Really excited about that one. I just find myself flying over similar places I go worldwide, the States sometimes, but you know, when you've got set routes and goodness knows what, and you kind of contributing towards a virtual airline, it can make a world of difference to the immersion. It's always got something to do as well. Anyway, I'll wait for the video on that. I don't want to talk too much about it in this live stream. 38, live time, live weather. What's the weather like over this part of the country? Very nice. It's very nice here. About the same, in fact. Is the time correct? It's now 7:10 where I am. Okay, let's just make it a little bit more correct. There. Flow handler, there's so many. Flow's another one, Russell, if you just installed it. Look at Flow. It's fantastic. Very useful, especially if you're on PC. Both Xbox and PC, in fact. These custom name tags here, name colours, are from Flow as well. What's my cockpit doing there? Okay, bear with me. Better. It used to have a virtual airline. Great. It's called Value Prop. All vintage props. Very nice. Wow. I'm on the right track. Yeah, Biggers, if you can figure out how to change it to nav2, that would be brilliant. Gotten a few aircraft which you're quite satisfied with. Great. Yeah, I mean... Okay, that's my next video. I was contemplating it anyway, but wait for my video hopefully tomorrow or Sunday. Because I do, you know, don't go out and... Let me just say now, don't go out and buy 20 aircraft if you've not practiced. I buy an aircraft once every couple of months maybe. Well, it depends if something comes on the market that I really want to review. I'll buy it. But I've got aircraft in my hangar that I don't fly. I don't know how to fly properly. That's all I'll say. Wait for that video, Mike. Yeah, I mean, I know people buying an aircraft as soon as it comes out, and unfortunately reviewers like us are responsible for that. But you know, when I put a review out, I recommend aircraft, but I don't mean if you've got aircraft that you're practicing already and you're not okay with. You're probably best waiting until you're practice with the aircraft that you bought a couple of months ago, really. Including airliners. It's why I don't go out and buy every airliner. I really get to grips with the airliners I've got before moving on. No point otherwise. Blue and white livery, that's where the DC3, this new version came from. Because the bit on the gamma says nav1. Let me just show you. So you see this here, I think that's nav, that'll be nav2 and goodness knows what. So these, I've changed to nav2, the frequency's down here, but I need to change the nav here to nav2, basically. I believe. I could be wrong. And there's no documentation to support the aircraft telling me what to do there, how to change it, so I don't know. I've tried all these buttons. These are just sort of receiver audio buttons, and as you can see, yeah, I don't know. I'm right-clicking these. These will switch between com and nav. Basically, if I right-click that, you're in your comms. Right-click again, you're in your nav. This is for this screen. So I don't know. I'm stuck. And that switches. Yeah, that just changes your frequency on the nav too there. So if I can switch to nav2, it may solve the issues. Oh, we're 27 nautical miles. When we're about under 20 nautical miles out from... Oh! Good point. From Leeds. I'll tune in to Leeds Airport. Now, which one's Leeds on my little nav map here? EGNN, that's right. And I want runway... I'm flying towards it, runway 14, ILS frequency 1110.90. 110.90. I'll do this on my nav 1, I hope. Nope, that's my nav 2. How do I change? Oh yeah. Put it back to nav 1 on my mods panel. 110.90, wasn't it? Have that in standby still for the moment. 110.90, let's just make doubly sure, yep. When we're under 20 nautical miles, I'll switch and tune into nav, ILS. Yeah, thanks, Biggers. You got me on the right path there, I think. But if I could just learn how to switch it. Once you've flown all prop liners, they are all easy. Each has a few quirks, yeah. You have 17 to fly them all, but not all at once. Yeah, that's the problem, like, you can fly some better than others. It's just I mean, it depends on you if you want to fly every aircraft in this sim. It's fine. It's just... My own preference is to really get to know my aircraft inside out before moving on. Apart from when I need to review a new aircraft and they can wait. And I'll go back to them and get rehearsed with them. Are you interested in airliners still, Mike? I'm trying to insert a few in for this new version and let you have them free. Brilliant, Russell, yep. That's for Mike, yep. Coming under 20 nautical miles, that's not an interesting view for you, sorry chaps. See, if I wasn't paying attention there, I could have been on the side of that hill. Or if my flight course was a little bit different, I would have been, this flight would have been ended. See the undulation here, what's the elevation of the airport? Let me just keep you in flight sim and I'll bring up the VFR map. It should show us. GNM, I'm going to have to zoom in on that map. Someone's over it. Brilliant. There's always an aircraft there when you don't want that to be. There we go. 600 feet. 668 feet. So with 2,000 feet, yeah, should be fine. Should be fine for an ILS, sir. Well, should we switch over? Should we see what happens? Switch this to VLOC localizer basically. Switch the navs. Yep, there you go. So the ILS works fine, no problem. And the VORs work fine to begin with. Anyway, let's not repeat. Go back over old ground, you know my issue with it, or my problems I'm having with it. Oh. 27. Localizer heading 138. Don't forget to put your localizer heading in your course select here, 138. Right, 138. Which means once we get onto this, once the course deviation line comes in and we're lined up, we should be lined up for the runway. That's all it means. So do you like these kind of streams, chaps? It's just me practicing really, but I like to do them on YouTube now and again. You don't like glass cockpit? I like a mix. I love the 172 glass cockpit. I prefer dials in any other aircraft. I love the 146 because it's analog, basically. And it's a lovely aircraft to fly. Kodiak, yep. Gotta buy that, haven't I? Yeah, love and hate relationship, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, Vision Jets is also another one I want to get. See what I mean now? You know, if I buy the Kodiak, I want to practice with that and get used to it properly before moving on. Is that line moving in? No. Won't do yet. It will do soon. Let's take a look at my radio panel. How far have we got? Oh, is it showing us the distance here now? Look at this. Now it's showing us the... Okay, I don't know what's happening there. It's showing us the distance to Leeds now, ILS 14. So there we go. Didn't do before. Now, is that me or is that a quirk of the aircraft? Or is that a quirk of this aircraft specifically? May need an update. That's all I'm saying. I mean, if you have the RG traps, try what I've done there. Do a couple of VORs in between ILSs. See if you have the same problems. Try ILSs, see if they come up here. It has this time, it didn't do before, the distance. I don't know. I want to showing what I'm doing, what's happening with me and my aircraft. I don't want to say it's a fault of the aircraft full stop, because it could be something I've not configured, but then at least put a proper documentation in there so that people like me know what's going on. People like you. No, boring. No, I don't know. It's like flying a little airliner, isn't it? In a sort of a GA form aircraft. It's like an airliner in a GA form aircraft. I like the idea of it. But I'm with you, Mike. It's got to be on a good sale for me to buy it. It's not one I'll buy outright. That's including the F2020. It's one I looked at and I thought, yeah, looks okay, but it's not. Is it the F2020? It's not too dissimilar to the 146. And do I need it? There's enough reviews out there for it already, so yeah, I'm not going to rush to buy it. The 737 I need to pick up as well, PMDG. Always a good aircraft producer. That's why I want to fly to your mates for a ski weekend, yeah, absolutely. 4 people, no, quite a lot in our disco. Wasn't paying attention. Will I go into approach mode? Will it follow it round? Yeah, it's caught it anyway. It'll just swing back around the aircraft and follow it round. So even if the coast deviation line, indicator line comes through, you should still be able to follow it round. So the aircraft is under approach mode now, so it'll bank to the left here. And then bring us back. We've still got 8 nautical miles. Let's slow our aircraft, Hudson. Get our gear and flaps in there. There's the airport. Another Comanche there. A Concorde. Well worth picking up at the moment, chaps. It's under £20 on the sale, marketplace sale. Xbox and PC. It's a lot of fun to fly. Concorde. Mike, you airliners, yeah, nice cheap airliner there for you, and good fun. You can fly around the world in it in no time. I've done a few videos on that, including a Twitch video. I've got a YouTube video live stream. Look at that after this one, maybe. After your flight. Push the button, you take off like a rocket in the Vision Jet, yeah. Have I left this too late? Let me just concentrate for a moment, chaps. We're 6 nautical miles out. I'll bring my gear down, so I don't want to forget that. Slow us down a little bit more just while this course gets there. It's coming in. That's the runway right there. I'm in approach mode, so it'll follow the glide slope down. Paint and Blue Boy just literally just behind me there. That's brilliant. All's going good. Still got you, yep, still got you in flight sim, thank goodness. Otherwise you would have been watching little nav map throughout the whole stream. Yeah, so if you enjoy these kinds of ad hoc live streams, I do them now and again, let me know and I'll keep doing them. I'm trying to get Twitch starting, but it seems like a no-go. I'll keep trying with Twitch, but limited time, really. I don't have much time for it. Just put a stage of flaps in. We're near flap speed there at another stage, that's fine. Then we'll slow to 80 knots. Come down on a nice approach to this runway. Wind farm just ahead of us there. Stupid place, that can't be right. Right in front of an approach for a runway, major runway there. Well, we're coming to the side of it, it's fine. Just going to alter my course select line. Fair bit, 130 there, see if that makes a difference. It doesn't the 146, it should effectively do the same, bring us for a slightly better approach there. Anyway, we're lined up for it. Blue Boy going in, nice. Yeah, kind of. Is there a crosswind or something? It is in live weather. What's the autopilot doing? My throttle back a little bit more, a little bit faster than I want to be. Put another stage of flaps in. This is our final destination. Now we're slowing to where I want to be. Get that throttle back. Get us down and we can just float over the runway, no problems. Really shouldn't null your throttle until you're over the runway and you're at a sensible altitude, but you know what? The aircraft just doesn't fall from the sky, it will float, glide. And it works. There we go. No issues, and we'll just come off to the left there. Raise our flaps as we go. Hit a few signs for good measure. Always has to be done, doesn't it? There we go. Oh, you're both down. I missed your paint. Well, listen, chaps, thanks very much. If you like this, let me know in the comments. I'll do more of these. And I'll be seeing you soon.